Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with the relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Brennan Lunin from NDZ Performance, marketing director with them. How you doing today, Brennan?
Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being on.
Now, it's great to have you on. And well, I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, Brennan, wondering what NDZ Performance is all about. So let's kick it off with that. In your own words, tell us a little bit more.
So NDZ Performance is one of the leaders in the market for premium aftermarket firearm upgrades and accessories. We basically create what I like to call gun bling. So we create mag plates, rear slide plates, and a lot of the things that make your gun stand out at the range. We focus on allowing our customers to express themselves through, parts that we create and shop, and also allow them to improve their performance. We have offers like guide rods and actually a lot of internal parts that do improve the performance of your firearm, but as well as, a lot of the external parts that are, obviously non-serialized and just kind of make your gun look cool, feel cool, and improve the handling, such as like mag plates and such. Basically, we want to be your one-stop shop for anything gun related that makes you accessorize your gun and, make people at the range jealous of your build.
Definitely. I love that. So, I mean, would that say one of the key problems in that you guys are solving for clients out there, or was there any other issues that you guys like to solve for clients?
Well, basically what we do is we follow along for what's going on in the firearm industry, any new releases of firearms from the big brands like Glock, SIG, Smith & Wesson, Springfield Armory. And, for example, Echelon came out with Springfield Armory. We found out that there were things on the Echelon that, it's an amazing firearm, all respect due to Springfield Armory, obviously, for great work as usual. But there were things that our customers, would have felt that could have made their gun a little bit more them. And so we do a lot of R&D into, current models that are on the market. And although we can't obviously do everything for everybody, and we don't want to, we are looking to kind of take a lot of the more popular guns and create parts for them that allow our, core audience to really personalize those firearms and make it their own. We cater primarily to the range goers, to folks that like to spend a lot of time at the range to perfect their self-defense skills. And, if you're a competitive shooter as well, you're kind of in our wheelhouse. So we want to make sure that those guys have not only the parts they need to have the gun perform better, but also to allow themselves to express themselves through the choices that they make in accessorizing their guns.
Okay, awesome. Great to hear that. And so how would then somebody usually find out about NDZ Performance? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys there?
Yeah. Since I've been on board for the last year as the creative director, and I started as like a marketing manager here, and I have a history in advertising and graphic design. And, the last position I've held was I was a advertising manager for a touring company. So we used to produce and promote a lot of comedy tours and a lot of the hip hop acts. So I brought a lot of knowledge with me on board here to be able to kind of retool the customer acquisition strategy. A lot of it was kind of was faced with SEO was the primary source of our acquisition strategy. Although there wasn't a whole lot of content that was being created to kind of push that SEO forward. It was mostly just optimizing listings and so on and so forth. Now, luckily, we do have a really, really strong and loyal customer base, which is, it's very helpful. We get a lot of good backlinks from some of the more prominent names in the industry, which is great. But I felt that there wasn't enough actual storytelling. So my goal here is to start creating a story that is, behind the scenes, who NDZ is, and to be able to tell that story through first micro content. I mean, create obviously long form content, splinter it up, create micro content that goes out, that gets people hooked on, the platforms that people hang out on, right? So you have your TikToks, your Instagrams, your Facebook Reels, so on, and then kind of draw them into my funnel and then be able to push them through some of the longer form content. So from, the 12 to 20 second, go up to 2 minutes on Facebook, and, and then push them onto the longer form content on YouTube where, we engage with our customers and be able to answer questions. We have a very, very strong following on YouTube. It's not huge. And I'm also not really a vanity metrics guy. I don't really care if we have, 1 million, followers, as long as, we have very loyal followers. I'd rather, like, as they say, I'd rather have 100 very loyal followers than, 100,000 just, followers that just thought we were cool for one reason or another and decided to click follow. So I'm trying to build a lot of brand loyalty in this company and really bring customers inside to see what we do and how we do it and what makes us different.
Definitely important. All right. Love that. And so that our listeners who are tuned in could go ahead and visit you guys, Brennan. They could always check you guys out at ndzperformance.com.
Yes, sir.
What role does your website play for you guys?
So we are on a few various platforms. We are on Amazon, we're on eBay, and I think we're making headway into Walmart and Target. Now we're also on Etsy for certain products. We kind of use a hub and spoke approach where you can't get everything that we offer on these platforms. So it's more of a, we tap in where the traffic is. You don't want to make inroads into your business where none exist. You don't want to drive traffic away from its normal source. You just want to tap into where it is. And, Amazon obviously is a great source of traffic for us, as well as eBay. And again, like I said, we're just building out Target and Walmart. Now, as somebody that really understands how the marketing, world works and advertising and being able to acquire customers, we know what we can and can't do on Amazon. But the thing that we really enjoy from Amazon is the ability to kind of reach a new audience for us that doesn't really follow us on social or might not be on, any of these other platforms. And then we're currently working to try to find ways to draw them into our website. The website is where you could get everything and anything that we make and offer. And these other platforms is just a selection of the stuff, obviously within policy, because we're in a sensitive industry. We want to draw those customers back in after the point of sale. So once the sale goes through and the customer receives their product, we're trying to include things like, additional marketing materials to kind of tell people who NDZ is, and then to kind of bring them back to the website. Not that we don't want to we don't want to obviously steal customers from one platform, and but the way the acquisition funnel for us works is we like to acquire customers on some of these easier to acquire pathways, and then draw them back into our website where we control obviously data acquisition and to be able to collect that data and then remarket to them further with our email and social media practice. So
okay, all right, awesome, Brendan. And well, on that note, I mean, you've been mentioning a couple of there for us, but is there any tools or other methods, strategies that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
Yeah. So as far as lead generation on the website, what I've really loved using is we're avid supporters and fans of Klaviyo. So I use Klaviyo for my email marketing. They have really easy and really simple lead form generation. So, sign up forms, whether it's a pop-up or whether it's an embed or whether it's a slide out. And the ability to create tags and the ability to segment the audience, which I feel like is one of the most overlooked things in email marketing. And the reason people say email marketing is dead, please don't believe that. Email marketing is not dead. It's responsible for about 20% of our revenue. It is very much alive. And I feel like with Klaviyo, the fact that they're not email marketing company first, and that's kind of like makes a lot of people shake their head like, what do you mean they're not an email marketing company first? They're not. They're obviously amazing at data, data collection, and to be able to use that data to segment it, and their ability to know people and who they are before they even, before you even decide to send an email is amazing. I think they started out as like a a data mine of some sort, and then built the email marketing into it, which made perfect sense. And I feel like I've used a lot of services. I've used MailChimp, obviously, when you first start, then you move on to Active Campaign and so on and so forth. Klaviyo is like free money. I don't get it. I don't know how they do what they do, but I'll never use another service unless it's that they come up with something Klaviyo doesn't offer. But yeah, it's amazing. The ROI on Klaviyo is like unheard. So I use a lot of that. I'm not so much, I don't control the website so much. We have we're on BigCommerce, and we have a BigCommerce manager Daniel, that controls that section. I'm more on, the strategy, and I'm more creative side of things, but me and Dan work very closely together. And we're not really heavy into apps. We like to kind of keep things simple because we don't want to, we don't want the load on the website to be able to have to load million scripts and things. So definitely making sure that our SEO is always optimized, always making sure that, we always keep our listings up to date. We go through and update our listings as new developments are found, so just to keep it fresh and continue to provide customers with solutions for their current problems, and, not to become stagnant.
Definitely. Okay, awesome. Great to hear that. And well, let's switch gears a little bit then, Brennan. Let's talk about you as a leader, you being the marketing director for NDZ Performance. What are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
I'm a lifelong student of marketing. Luckily for me, I'm kind of addicted, and I spend quite a bit of my morning actually browsing and learning, and whether it's watching videos from people I look up to and, people that I consider mentor. Also, I tried to sign up for, obviously, stay on top of what my competition is doing, although I'm not like a typical look at your competition kind of guy. I look at my competition just to kind of feel what they're doing. I don't like to really resemble anybody in my niche as far as what we do as a company. So, it's one thing to stay on top of like knowing where your competition's at. It's another thing to use that as fuel to kind of drive yourself forward. And I try to look more at other niches and try to see, what the Nikes of the world are doing. If you're gonna reach for the stars, like reach for the stars. Don't reach too close to the earth. You want to make sure that what's going on in your niche and your industry, but you don't want to spend so much time looking at your competition that it becomes like, well, we have to do this because they've done such and such, So I look at other industries that I feel like are closely related to us. So I spend a good amount of time doing that. My email marketing kind of takes up also a good chunk of my day. I like to send out a couple of emails a week. Make sure they're segmented, make sure that the storytelling behind it is actually like good flow to the email, that people who read the email aren't just going to get have new products, and it's just, I'm a creative, and I've been an artist my whole life since I was about 3 years old, whether it's music, I have quite a bit of a musical background as well. And I have about 20 years in marketing at this point with graphic design as well. So I think like an artist, and I try to tell a story in all of my marketing. So I spend a lot of my day thinking and working with my team to create actual, stories about the products or the processes that we have here at NDZ. And I don't want to be boring. I don't want to just sell you parts and pieces because you can buy them anywhere. I want my customers to know that NDZ is not only here to solve people's problems, but it's also here to, to allow people to express themselves as well. So we try to think of problem solving while also remaining creative is like a big hurdle for us to cross to be able to help our customers really achieve what their goals are with their firearms.
All right, perfect. And well, let's jump into our next section then here. Which is our rapid fire question round. Mm-hmm. What's the last book that you read, Brennan?
So last book that I read that really, really moved me was Dan Norris's 7-Day Launch. That book, man, it's that and They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. Those two books really, really, as far as a content creator, Marcus Sheridan blew my whole mind. The way that he proposes writing and creating content, whether it's writing blogs or creating video content, and how to do it and how not to get burnt out and how not to get, kind of overwhelmed with it and keep it sustainable is, you really pay attention to your customers. And having a sales background as well, I know that the thing, and especially in the car industry, when I used to work as a car salesman way back like in the day, I've learned that you don't need to ask people what they want. You need to ask people, what their problems are, what their habits are, what their needs, fears, desires are, and they will tell you what they want. Asking them what kind of car they want to drive will not sell them a car, but figuring out that they have 4 kids and they travel and they like to go on vacations and this, that, and the third will give you an idea of a certain vehicle. So I use those lessons from my past to kind of do the same thing here at NDZ, where, we want to make sure that we understand our customers and that we're communicating with our customers and that we're not only telling a story, but we're also answering their questions. And I mean, that's what that book really, I know, like, to circle back to your question, those books, number one, they taught me to listen to my customers and understand the questions that are being asked. And as far as Dan Norris' 7-day launch, the need for us creatives to overcomplicate everything is just one of my biggest pet peeves about myself, is that I feel the need that I have to, to show how great and, intelligent I am. I have to overcomplicate everything to make it seem like there's so many layers and, and to a general, layman and Joe public, they just want simplicity. They don't want to have to decide after, making decisions at work, what their family is going to eat, bringing their kids to practices, so on and so forth. I noticed that customers just want you to create the answers for them, give them the solutions before they have to ask you for the, for the problem. And Dan Norris, the 7-day launch, basically says, before you start to create all sorts of variations and modifications and upgrades and all these things to your core product that you created, just launch it, and as they say, build that plane in flight. You know what I mean? So don't waste the time to create, an option, an upgrade of this and that before you launch it to find out that your product isn't viable. Get it to the most basic, basic optimized selling point that you can to get it out on the market, put it out there and see what it does. And if it does great, then you have a reason to continue to make changes to it and make upgrades to it. But if it doesn't, and the same goes for content, like creating a 6-month content strategy. If you don't know if it's going to survive past 1 month, again, don't overcomplicate, simplify, and usually simplification is the hardest. And those 2 books, again, it's 7-day launch by Dan Norris and They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And I think those things they'll blow your top off for sure if you haven't read them, or they're on audio book as well.
Halfway. All right. Very great read there for our listeners. Next up then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
AI. AI really just made my career skyrocket, and the ability to utilize, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or anything, the Claude, anything that's on the market, to generate content. And I'm not talking about just asking it to create a WordPress blog about our new product. I'm talking about giving it enough meat where it knows exactly where you're going, and having the human touch do the creative part and having the AI do the heavy lifting of crafting articles or, scripts for YouTube videos. I'm currently working with really getting my head around the agents, where you're basically assigning tasks and then those agents carry them out for you. I know there's a lot of Python has really been great too in that sense, where I've been using Python with, there's a script. I don't know exactly. It's a software platform. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're calling it, but it's called Crew AI, and it allows you to kind of assign tasks to each individual AI agent, who then will communicate within themselves as a group and create amazing results for you. And I haven't wrestled it completely yet, and I haven't figured out all the ins and out, but that's kind of where I'm at right now as far as working with these AI agents. One would be, let's say, a writer. The other one would be a marketer, one would be an editor. They would be, some kind of distribution AI that pushes it out to all these different platforms. And what you're doing is you're giving them their roles, and then you're giving them their guardrails, and then you tell them what their responsibilities are and how to communicate and who could give tasks to other agents, so on and so forth. And it just, Like, talk about having a virtual team. It's whether it's VA or whether it's these actual roles that you're assigning them, that these things are working in the background, giving you more time to think critically, taking you out of the rat race. And that's, that really has completely like moved me in my perspective on content creation, like years ahead of where it used to be.
All right. So great there, insults. And well, we are coming to the end of our show here today, Brennan. But before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. Say someone forgets everything about the interview today. What is that one thing they should remember about NDZ Performance?
Again, NDZ Performance, we're trying to, really become the go-to place for all gun aficionados who want to accessorize their guns, who want to make sure that their self-expression, is visible through their firearms, to turn heads at the range. We're also great for, if you want to customize something for a loved one, if, you have a gun aficionado in the family and you want to give it as a gift, we have a lot of, things either just from gift cards, but also staff on hand who'll be able to actually help you modify your gun or gun for a loved one that you're looking to do as a build. We have an RSO officer, Justin, who is a range safety officer, and he has extensive experience with firearms. He's also our customer service person that you'll be able to talk to ask all the questions, as well as Michael, who's pretty much the same thing. They're both instructors. So these guys, they're there to answer your questions for the product as well as just the firearm itself. And we're trying to be more than just a company. We're all American sourced, and we don't produce anything out of the country. We have an office in Cheshire, as well as our mechanic machine shop. So we're all American, born and bred, and we're just trying to really provide customers with the most premium aftermarket accessories and upgrades for their firearms.
Definitely, right? And our listeners can always check you guys out at ndcperformance.com.
Yep.
You guys empower firearms enthusiasts with innovative aftermarket accessories that enhance performance, reliability, and personalization. Brennan, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Brennan.
Thanks, Vanessa. Appreciate you.